All right.
Welcome. This is the Recruitment 365 breakout room. I'm Callan, and Jake is my co-chair. We're both the regional managers of membership for recruitment for the Atlantic Metro region. We're just going to go through recruitment and different ways to spread the word about AKSI, go through different recruitment ideas and a few best practices in order to assist your chapters in having a successful recruitment.
And like Andrea said many a times, and I'm a firm believer in it too. And I've told the chapters in the Atlantic Metro when we have our calls, recruitment is a 365 or 366 day a year process. It's not something that you do passively for a couple of weeks in the August, September, or middle of January. It truly is a full year-round obligation. Every member does it, whether they actively think about it or passively think about it. You are an extension of Alpha Kappa Psi, whether you're wearing leathers, you're on campus, you're in a class, whether on campus or remote, you are an extension of the organization. And, by proxy through it, you're marketing for your chapter and Alpha Kappa Psi as a whole.
Okay, so we'd like to start with just reviewing the minimum expectations from the fraternity, which I'm sure you're all aware of, but we wanted to just go over it again. The first is to complete 2 recruitments, whether virtual or hybrid, in an academic year, and one must be in the first term of the year. And then also you must follow the Bridge to Brotherhood program with potential new members. All right, so getting the word out about AKSI is very important. You want to be marketing, as Jake said, 365 days a year, and just always remembering that you are your best brand. So here we've listed a few ways that we can reach out to different groups of students to have them learn about AKSI. So for the first one, for the previous potential new members, when you have your recruitment events and you have a list of those that may be interested and whether they were interested in that semester or not, keep that list and reach out to those potential new members in semesters to follow. Maybe they're interested now or it's a better time for them to come out. They might be more familiar with AKSI. If they were underclassmen, they might be eligible now if they weren't to start, like if they were freshmen. Also utilize current member networks. So those that are in AKSI might be involved in other organizations that share similar values and ideas that could be a good attribute to AKSI. Referrals. So if you ask administration, peers, if they have any idea of those that would fit into AKSI to fit what you're looking for and those that would benefit the fraternity. Social media. You can utilize different features in Instagram, such as like the story, the question and answer polls. It's just some way to grab the interest of someone who's flipping through social media. Obviously, a lot of people that are using it, they're kind of just moving quickly. So you want to just grab their attention. It's not really going to give them the full detail, but something to spark interest and have them inquire further. Administrative assistance. So a lot of the professors and administrations are willing to help and assist you to get the word out there. They're to help. You can ask if they would allow you to speak in the beginning of classes. I know it's a little bit difficult now that things are virtual, but maybe they can write an email to send out to all of their students, or if they do have Zoom calls, if they would allow you to do a little briefing in the beginning to explain what AKSI is and the benefits that you get from it. Advertising through university platforms. If your college and university has a newsletter or a website, you can put an advertisement in there, a blurb, just to say what AKSI is about, to reach different schools outside the business school as well. It'll just allow you to have a more diverse population. Word of mouth, when you're talking to peers, bring up AKSI, bring it up in the conversations, discuss what it means to you, which kind of goes along with the share stories. the best information that you can provide is your own experience. So discuss the benefits that you had from being a brother of AK Psi, the events that have been hosted that you enjoy, how you've improved as a business professional and as a leader, and then any resume and interview skills that you have gained that can benefit you outside of undergrad or grad school, that it can be of great benefit in the business world. But it's definitely important to spread the word whenever and wherever you can, because then the more that you reach out, the more exposure there'll be, and you'll be able to reach a variety of potential new members and have more students become interested in AK Psi.
And then for, Keelan and myself have talked to all the chapters in the Atlantic Metro pretty frequently. And then I personally see on social media, some of the chapters by where I live down in the Carolinas, even into Georgia, posting of the events that they've been doing and, the turnout that they've been getting in a fully virtual environment for probably 95% of the schools. So some of the most popular recruitment events that I've seen that have had good success and have gotten, good feedback from the, again, the chapters in the Atlantic Metro is like a sample 14 chapters, virtual coffee meetings, if you can actually in your state or local government, go out to, Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks and, meet with people and essentially be like a, like almost like a speed networking. I've seen that work very well and I've gotten very good, results and seen a lot of, good engagement through that. I know a lot of the chapters in Atlantic Metro, the game night, just again, doing a breakout Zoom session, break into rooms. I've seen some that did polls through Zoom. I've seen a couple others where they actually used a third-party website to facilitate, again, just the actively engaging people, potential new members, and then just, brothers of all different ages being, again, in a remote environment across many different parts of the United States and in different countries for some chapters. It's good to have like a medium that facilitates that, I'll say again, engagement and facilitates the fact that, for most chapters, you can't be in person having, these info sessions like you have in the past. Co-sponsorships, very big. It's very easy to, get Alpha Kappa Psi's name on other events, whether it's with business schools or university, career center, with the dean of students, chapters have different ways that they've undertaken that to get the name out without having to, go through all the hassle and background of getting, fully fledged 2-hour events put out there and going with attendance and again, branding with letters, branding with, yourself as an extension of the organization, very big thing. Volunteering, again, I haven't really seen a lot of examples of remote volunteering, most of which still happen, on site, whether you're at a food bank, a soup kitchen. I've seen some stuff done with Habitat for Humanity with a few of the North Carolina schools. Again, very good opportunity to get Alpha Kappa Psi's name out there and brand yourself and brand your chapter. Alumni panels. I actually was on an alumni panel 2 or 3 weeks ago. Again, with the school down here in North Carolina where I live now. And it was fun. I had no relationship with the chapter beforehand. They reached out to me, just saw that I was in the area and spoke to a very diverse group of people. Again, the only common connection besides the fact that I live down here is, being an Alpha Kappa Psi brother and being in the business world and, accepting a request to be part of a pretty engaging panel. I think there was something like 50 or 60 people that attended. So really good, turnout overall. And then resume workshops. I know, my home chapter, Gamma Pi, Seton Hall, we've done them in the past. I think that they're still being done. It's a nice, easy way to help out people. And again, it doesn't have to be business school related. At the end of the day, you're going to have a resume and you're going to need to be able to have the interview skills, soft skills, be able to, not only, market yourself. Again, it doesn't matter if it's in the business world, the medical field, education. At the end of the day, you're going to have to interview somewhere. And, going to a panel like that, it definitely helps out. And then I wanted to open up the floor to the current undergrads to, share some unique events that they've done, some success stories throughout the fall semester for the chapters that did fall recruitment and take on a fall pledge class. So I will open up the floor to anybody. Don't be shy.
I can go.
Perfect.
So what we did this semester was fully virtual. We are kind of hybrid for our classes at Seton Hall, but for all Greek life, we were told to stay virtual. So because of that, we did our recruitments, like you mentioned, the game nights. We would have info sessions. And for us, I think what we realized was the new members, they're kind of like coming to these events to just learn more about AKSI and what they'd sign up for. And because things are virtual, maybe it's changed everyone's mindset, but they're more of like a quick information, get in, get out type of thing. So as we kept having them, our presentation would start getting more and more condensed. And then we leave the room open afterwards if anyone wanted to like talk or network. But we really just had to work on the quick pitch.
And Nikki, that's, good to hear again. Obviously, taking my bias out for being, Seton Hall to Seton Hall. What event do you think worked best for, Gamma Pi this semester? Was it like the Meet the Brothers event? Was it the, networking night? What event do you think worked best for the very strong fall pledge class that you all are currently taking on?
For us, I think it was just one of our simple like information sessions, and then Meet the Brothers, where the brothers introduce themselves and explain what they're doing now, why they joined AKSI. And I think as we went on with it, we realized like that was the type of event that PNMs were coming for. So we would try to get that focused. And like the other things we ran, like game nights, or we tried to have like a Netflix party night. Honestly, there wasn't much interest for that. I don't know if that's just because of our situation or the way things are when it was first went virtual, where people didn't really want to sign up for long meetings. But yeah.
Yeah. And again, for the Atlantic Metro chapters, I know that I put out the, statement when I talked to you all in August, early September. Hey, this is completely new to everybody. This is not anything that's happened in Alpha Kappa Psi's 115 years of existence. Do some trial and error. Do the events that you would usually do in person over the, remote environment and see what kind of turnout you get. And, be open with other chapters and just, bounce ideas off of each other, because, this is unprecedented times, and, turnout might not have been exactly what it had been, previous years because of the whole remote environment. So I appreciate the, the honest answers and the fact that, again, Gamma Pi had a really good fall turnout from what I've seen, and that's good. And that goes back to even when I was an undergrad 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Did anybody else want to share? Susie, Caitlin, see a couple of names that I recognize in the chat.
For my chapter, I feel like one of the biggest ones at the beginning, we did a business showcase, kind of like what the brothers have done, like the internships that they have in the leadership positions. And we really pushed like, oh, this is what the brothers can achieve, and we can help you get there as well. I think one of the biggest turnouts was when we had an alumni panel, but it was with our business school. So they really helped us like advertise it. And I think around 50, 60 people showed up. So it was really successful.
And again, Susie, going back to, what Kaylin said earlier, the co-sponsorship, co-branding, co-hosting events, really good, return on investment, return on time invested, two metrics that I pretty much live my life by. It's really good to see that you got that kind of turnout with, essentially co-hosting events, so you don't have to put in all the, time and focus into doing it yourself. So commend you on that. All right, let's continue on here. Best practices, again, something that I started the, conversation out with, and again, something that Andrea has said many a times, plan recruitment with the understanding that recruitment is, truly a 365, 366 day a year undertaking. It's not something, passively. It's not something that you just do a couple times a year and then never think about it. You always want to be out recruiting. You always want to be marketing, always want to have a strong presence. Again, social media, regular in-person events. You always want to have a mindset, whether you think about it actively or passively, that, hey, the actions that you do you usually come back to a reflection of the organization that you're a part of. Speak to the regional managers of recruitment membership. I know every area does it differently. And for Atlantic Metro, you all know that you can reach out to Kaylin or myself pretty much anytime, any issues that come about. Talk to us, run ideas by us. We're here to help out any way that we can. And if it's not something that the two of us could personally do, that we have the, resources available to help you out any way that we can. Communicate with other chapters. I've seen this happen, NJIT has done a chapter that I wanted to highlight. And I know one of their chapter representatives is on the, on this breakout session. So I wanted to commend them for being a university that's reached out to a lot of other chapters, because, they haven't been around for, 60, 70, 100 years like some of the other chapters in the area. So, kudos on that. Be flexible with, current world affairs. Diana said it many a times, lead this semester with the, grace. I think that should be the motto for, this calendar year. Utilize resources, again, whether it's at the university level, whether it's at the chapter advisor level, the volunteer level, the national organization level. There's plenty of resources out there to help you, not only with marketing, social media marketing, recruitment, retention, active engagement, brother engagement. There's resources out there to help you. And if you ever need help with identifying, where they are, what the resources are, come talk to one of us, here to help out. And then explore the My AK side. I know that the apps had a couple of issues that have happened over the past couple of weeks, but I think that they're finally resolved. And, you can never replace the My AK side website for any resources, support, questions, pretty much anything, a few clicks away. And I will now open it up the floor for any final questions, comments, concerns, any clarification that's needed to anybody on the call.
I came a bit later, and I was wondering, since it's recorded, like where am I able to access it?
Andrea or Coral, would you know the answer to that? I don't know where these Zoom calls can be found once they get published.
Oh, Susie, so Coral is going to gather the recordings, and she's going to send out an email to everybody that'll include all three that are happening today. So you'll get them all. Yeah, you're welcome. The other thing I wanted to add, and apologies on a side note, everyone, just remember that today is the roster update deadline, and it is also the deadline to submit any awards.
And if you haven't, classified your fall pledge class in the My AK Sci, I know that was due about a week ago. So if you haven't done that, please make sure to update the roster accordingly. And if, nothing else, if any, questions that you have that you don't want to ask on this call, feel free to reach out to Kalen or myself. We put our emails on there. I pretty much live by my phone. So if anything ever comes up that you need help with, even if you're not in the Atlantic metro region, feel free to reach out to one of the two of us. And that concludes today's breakout room. So I appreciate everybody, carving out some time on their Sunday to be here. Appreciate all the, volunteers that I saw on the call, all of the undergraduate students in chapters still. I appreciate the, time and, joining Kayla and myself on this call. And, we really, really do appreciate it.